Council of Aging Board meeting on Tuesday, November 12th, 2024 at the COA Center, 18 Pond Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432. This meeting will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation via Zoom is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting/hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may access the proceedings by joining Zoom meeting ID number 375-414-6055 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, Assistant Town Manager, atm@am.mass.us, or at 978-772-8220, extension 100, prior to the meeting. I call the meeting to order at 2:07 p.m. Does anybody make a motion to approve or?
And move that we accept the agenda as submitted.
Second, wait, I was just gonna say, is Ken coming down to the meeting? Do we know?
I do not know.
Was he invited to this meeting?
He was sent a letter.
Okay, do you want me to run upstairs real quickly? Otherwise, we should take him off the agenda for today. You run upstairs real quick.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi,
I'm Dennis.
good to see everybody.
Please see you. Yeah.
No, I haven't even seen.
So just again, what Katie just did was, we have had an ongoing kind of conversation with the housing authority in terms of upgrading the ramping at the Pleasant Street apartments. And it was on the agenda that Ken Martin, who is I'm not sure his title, executive director maybe of the housing authority, and speak to those concerns. And Katie had just run up to find out if he were in fact coming, and he is not.
He is not. The housing office is closed.
Oh, okay.
So I amend my motion to approve, and now I vote to approve the agenda as amended by deleting the conversation regarding the ramp at Pleasant Street Park involving Mr. Ken Martin.
Okay, so amend a motion, the agenda. All those in favor, we have to vote now differently. And I'm gonna move that one up too, okay? So when because we're meeting with everybody not present, we need to know how people are voting.
Okay, all right.
So we need to do roll call voting.
Okay.
So if we're approved, we know we're amending the agenda. But we need a roll call for that. So Dennis, how do you?
Well, she has to say.
Oh, we need a
Second.
second.
All right, so
Dennis is aye. Mary is aye. Cheryl?
Aye. I'll do the thumbs up on my Zoom screen. I don't know if you guys can see me, but I
Yeah, we
agree.
can. We
Yeah,
can.
it's actually,
So that's a unanimous. And two is, 10 is off the. Okay. The December young senior meal. As far as what the board can be doing to help. What can we get, what do you need from us to help you?
Well, so the last time we talked about this, the COA board said that they wanted to host this.
Well, it was with the Friends of the Air,
Okay.
to do the serving and the meal.
Okay,
so I thought there was some question as to whether we wanted an actual sit-down meal as opposed to some sort of meet and greet, cocktail hour, sans the alcoholic beverages. It seems to me that it's a little easier to kind of facilitate the kind of, casual conversations at a cocktail hour reception as opposed to a dinner, sit-down dinner. But
True, but at this stage of the game also too, we're talking 3 weeks.
A month yet?
well, if we want to do it in this, yes. If we wanted to do it in December or even January, I mean, I think January is fine as well.
It's,
Yes,
I mean, we definitely need to, if we're gonna do some type of sit down meal, we need to
Oh, that's true.
invitations, because we need we need to know how many. A
Yeah.
cocktail hour you can do, or that type of environment where it's casual. You have the ability to open it up to more, because you don't need specific amounts.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Or spaces, so it's sort of like that.
You can also, I think, kind of advertise it more broadly and, you're not gonna get, as opposed to, oh my God, we planned dinner for 20 and 40 showed up.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I know it was on the calendar. Was it on the, did I see it on the
Well,
calendar?
nothing's gone out yet,
no,
No,
but my whole feel about that was that it was to be before one of your planning committee meetings.
right, we can certainly
And-
do that.
And really, so people might stop in,
Mhm.
either have a meal, have something to munch and see a presentation like you did at the hall
Right, okay,
and do, and you'd be hitting a different crowd
Mhm.
that might come from after the train or,
right,
because you have that 4:30, 5:30
right,
trains.
yep, okay, yeah. I'm on board, you guys just tell me when you wanna
And-
do it and,
I don't know when you're thinking about town. When it's going to town.
oh, the building project, we're shooting for like a late February, so I think I think this could be in December or in January, I'm fine with whatever. I mean, if you guys wanna host it with the friends of the seniors, you guys can just give me a date. And then I can put it in the newsletter.
So why not go for both January and February
That's fine.
and hit as many as you can?
so I'm just thinking this through. So December is anytime between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Tends to be-
December's busy for people.
Yes,
They have a lot of parties, they have a lot of,
yeah, there are a lot of social obligations, much less so in January, but
you have weather.
yeah, you've got weather and does that mean you want? I mean, I think just doing one will be sufficient. Just and the financing for this, you're anticipating it coming from the Friends of the Air Senior Center?
all of it necessarily.
And where would the rest of it come?
Come from.
It'd have to come from the,
So I guess that, so that is the budgetary concerns.
right,
So how much are we talking that may impact?
I don't think it's
Okay.
going to be that big of
Well,
a.
what is scallops wrapped in bacon run you nowadays?
I'm sorry?
What is scallops wrapped in bacon run you nowadays?
I mean, I think you should
BJ.
plan on probably between $400 and $500 for,
Yeah,
40 people? $10 a person? I have no idea.
I mean, depending on where you
where you go. for
get
your-
the stuff, yeah.
Mhm. All right, that seems manageable.
I'll price that BJ's for you.
Okay,
Keeping
so
in mind, I can't
You got-
warm up a bunch of frozen, I'm not allowed to, I'm working on an amended food permit, but right now I can't do that.
so that leaves, you're right. So because I was thinking BJ's or Costco, one of those things,
Yeah.
but we don't have any place to heat those up.
right.
So you're
we're-
gonna have to cater it
Oh,
somehow.
my
Now, weirdly speaking, potluck does not apply. So though the rules apply, the Board of Health rules apply for me keeping my kitchen clean and to a certain standard. It doesn't matter if you cook it in your kitchen, bring it in, because those rules don't
Yeah.
apply. So if you guys wanted to do it potluck style, you guys could buy appetizers at BJ's and bring them in already hot, and then I can hold them to serve them. I just cannot warm them up in my oven.
So I can make a hot cookie,
Mhm,
dip and bring it in,
mhm,
use it as a dip,
mhm,
put the, you know,
mhm. It just cannot be
okay,
cooked here.
okay.
It's a technicality,
And just
but
put
it
a
is,
sign saying it's a seafood.
yeah. Whatever, I mean, like I said, whatever you guys want to do, I'm
Okay.
happy to go along with that.
So the first thing is to think about what the date would be
Yeah.
and what the purpose of the gathering is.
And how to get it out, how to advertise it as well too.
Yeah, I think that, yes. So, and we want it on a weeknight prior to a building committee meeting,
Mhm.
and those typically begin at 6 o'clock. So then that would begin at like 4:30 at, mm,
4:30 might be a long time.
but even if it begins at 5. Are you gonna get much
But if
traction
the
with
train
it?
gets in at 4:30, they get here 4:45.
I
The
don't,
express train comes back about 5:30.
So I would suggest doing 5:30 then.
Yeah,
and then maybe move the meeting to 6:30, but I don't think we're gonna get many
but you
people
could do
running
it
off.
at 6.
I don't think we're gonna get many people running
I-
off the train. To make, reception hour for them. They're just gonna go home and or have to take care of the kids or watch the dog or whatever it is they do. And we're targeting. Young seniors. So people who are currently working but aren't kind of retired.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, it could be, you know, a young senior could be somebody who's retired or is
Yeah,
getting ready to retire as well too. You have some retirees who are still working or
yeah.
doing other things.
But I'll tell you, there's an age group out there that are supporting parents
Mhm,
that are for this,
Mhm,
that you need to reach to.
mhm.
Sure. I think we're gonna have a lot of opportunities for people to learn about the building project. I think a young senior meet and greet can exist completely separate from the building
Yeah.
project, right? Like, I think it's a valuable program to offer. It's evening hour programs are not something I can offer right now where I'm heading them up, but if you and the friends group want to do that, then I'm happy to do what I can to facilitate
What if
them.
we do it
Yeah, but-
do it at the library instead? Or
Mhm.
somewhere in town hall?
Mhm. And that might be. Because I do think that's going to be a key group you need to hit.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Hmm?
I don't disagree. That's a group you really need to get.
Yeah. I was
And they're
just
probably the
looking at the
hardest to get,
calendar
too.
in
What's
July.
that?
They're probably the hardest to get to.
I don't think
Yes.
it's going to be your hardest. I don't think
Yes.
it's going to be your hardest. I think those who are parent tended
Mhm.
are going to be saying, well, but,
No, I think what Mary said.
Not hardest to,
get.
not hardest to,
oh,
Yeah.
but hardest to get out.
Yes,
yes,
You'll get one parent. And
You
the
get
other
something.
one will have to go home and take care of the kids at night. But I'm just looking, I think maybe if you did it that week after Martin Luther King birthday. That's a holiday weekend, it's a long weekend.
or before.
Well, I'm looking at that one because they only have 4 days to work that week,
Mhm.
parents and people.
So are you talking about the 21st, 22nd, or 23rd?
That's what I was looking at that saying, the 19th, 20th, the 21st. Cause they'll have the 18th, oh,
the 18th is
I'm
Saturday,
sorry, I'm looking, my calendar flipped back.
the 19th is
The
Sunday.
20th, they'll. Will they get that day for the holiday, I think?
Yeah, it's the third Monday.
And then they'll have the 20th, 21st, they'll have that 4-day week. So if we did something that week,
So the Thursday after,
That'd be the 23rd.
23rd,
maybe, or even the 21st, hit them when they first go back to work, when they're fresh. I know when I used to work and I'd go back to work, that first day, it's a lot fresher.
and the reason we're getting them is because of the timing of the events.
I think you're also looking, is that the time that you want to have it so that you can target them?
Right. But we kind of, we're not, it's not exclusionary.
No,
That is, we're just kind of trying to gear it to try to attract as many of a particular demographic as we can, but we're not excluding anyone who may.
oh, no,
No, I mean, it also too is well, it has to do with the new senior center. It also doesn't too. It's also sort of trying to introduce what the senior center has to that age group. As they're starting to, because in some respects, somebody who's 50 or 55 is eligible to come
mhm,
and take advantage of it. Just sort of, this is what we have,
mhm.
sort of educating them on all those other things and services.
Mhm.
So we gotta come up with a better spot, I think. I mean, I think it may be that. If
What
you
about the hall in City Hall, in the town hall? That hall that's where there's bigger
Yeah.
gatherings.
I'm thinking perhaps that, anywhere else, the library, maybe. You don't want it at DPW, you don't want it at the police station, don't want it at the fire station.
No,
Um.
mm,
What's that?
that's a good idea too. On the,
I don't know, Bill, yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, is a lot of companies don't give that as a holiday anymore. They'll
Yeah.
work on a holiday, so. Yes, it's nice to tie it to that. Schools are closed and those types of things, but a lot of people do actually work that day.
mm,
And can I
Mhm.
just jump in? The town hall would be closed on a holiday, so we'd have to have overtime, which we can't avoid. We'd have to pay it for a holiday for a custodian, so just FYI.
I just think if we tried maybe the Tuesday after it.
Yeah.
And if we need to bring potluck or we,
That's the 21st.
And. I I tend to be tone deaf to these kinds of things, How many people are you anticipating potentially? Because I was off by a factor of 4. We got in the last presentation. So I said 30, I said 120, Katie said 30. 30 was closer.
Hmm.
So,
I don't know, I think it depends what we advertise for and what we.
I think it would be a small amount,
I do too.
to be honest with you.
so like
It's
20,
winter.
25,
It's winter, it's cold, it's,
because that'll, you know, how big a room and all the rest.
right,
All right.
but I think we have to keep putting our foot forward on. Advertising.
How do you
So,
may I ask a question? How do you normally advertise events? How do those get out? Is it word of mouth? Is it Facebook? Do you have a newsletter?
The senior center has a newsletter, called the Longevity Ledger, and,
Nice, I've read that one. It's very nice.
thank you. And so that goes out, we have a print distribution of about 450 about town. And then it gets emailed to about 350 people. And then it gets posted on the town website and on the Facebook page. And then we pick out specific events from there and put a selected subset on our Facebook page and then shared into the Ayer community page.
That's great. I'm just thinking, do you ever co-op with any local merchants, the restaurants downtown? See if we could get a small catered, like right on Main Street, just like have an hour and a half, one of the restaurants. Then if people wanted to buy a drink, they could buy a drink, and then if we could pay for hors d'oeuvres and appetizers and just set that up, then people could get off the train or come downtown or back at the
So
park.
nice. Get the chamber's business after hours type
Yeah,
idea.
it's a great idea.
I mean, if you did half Marco's, you know, the
We
half
do that,
the half on the
pickleball.
other side.
Yeah, we do that for pickleball.
Because I know
Oh.
you have restaurants that bring
We
meals,
take
you
over.
order meals, and maybe there are restaurants that kind of like one hand washes the other if we, bring people in.
If you want to call.
Yeah,
And I don't know, does Pleasant Street have any back room? I've only sat in the bar area there.
yeah, they do have a small, but it's more kind of like integrated into the entire restaurant. There's not,
Okay. All right.
you know, a single door entry. The back of Tiny's, I don't know how crowded they get for supper.
Maybe on like a middle of the week, they're not so crowded at Tiny's in the back, and there's parking and it's close.
Yeah,
And who doesn't like
Almost.
Tiny's?
They're closing at 4 now, aren't they?
are they really?
They,
Okay.
some nights.
All right, and also that's not really the demographic we're going for.
No, Marco's might be worth it.
So
Mhm.
why don't we say, all right, so looking at. So tasks to be done, so we're looking for some sort of cocktail reception for approximately 30 people
Mhm.
to be held some evening the week after MLK Day. Targeting, I mean, no one is excluded, but the hope would be to attract adults between the ages of 45 and 55, or 35 and 55, who live in Ayer, and may be interested in hearing more about the seniors. Now,
I would not call that demographic a young senior meet and greet then.
no, I wouldn't either.
But
Okay.
I was thinking more 50 plus. That was my.
I guess I was going.
That's good. That's a good way to, that's a good way.
I was going 45 and up because 45-year-olds might be taking care of their elderly.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, for the purposes of informing the public, I would just say meet and greet.
Yeah, why do we have to have an age limit? You're right.
I wouldn't characterize it in any way, other than meet and greet to become better informed about the senior center. Do we want a formal presentation, or do we want just kind of handouts?
So is it,
and-
so let's back up, because is this about the new senior center, or is this about,
The new senior,
is this about services that the senior center offers currently, even for those 50 and above, to introduce them to the idea of a senior center,
I,
so that they aren't hesitant to use one as they get older?
No, I think it's about the new.
I think it's about the,
Okay, because when we started this conversation, it was about a young senior dinner.
Right,
From the last
but I
time,
think
it's more
now
thing is we're talking
it's
about.
kind of
Yeah.
rotation, and this is how we need to go to find out what we can do.
I mean, I think it's,
And I think the idea of, and maybe if Cheryl wants to call Marcos and see what we could get,
Mhm.
that would be a great, if we could have it. I know we do that for pickleball gatherings. We'll take over Marcos. And we order dinners and we take beer and we have a band come in. And, you know, we just take it for the night. So I know they're willing to work with people.
Yeah.
And I think if we
Well,
had materials,
and we give Marcos a lot of business.
Right,
here at
we
the
do
senior
give
center.
That's good to know. Do you guys have a contact person there? Do you know who's the owner or who?
I can get the catering contact for you.
Thinks,
we use.
yeah, look it up, but,
yeah,
so
and then
I think,
maybe we can approach another merchant to underwrite the cost. Another
Yeah,
business in town.
maybe, although I think well, we'll see what it might cost. I mean, I wouldn't think, I mean, I think that we'll have to talk to the friends. No, I mean, it's not a bad idea, Cheryl. I'm just concerned that we're gonna exhaust given how much money we're gonna be talking about in the fundraising that the friends are gonna be trying to do.
Mhm.
I think the merchants may grow a little
Mary?
weary.
Burn out. We don't want to burn them out, no.
I will say, pre-COVID, senior centers used to be able to ask for restaurant donations for a meal once a month or things like that. Post-COVID, I really have not had any success getting even discounted meals, let alone a donated meal. That
Oh, I wasn't talking about restaurant. I was talking about getting another merchant in town, whether a business, whether it's, Moore's Lumber or, I don't know who.
I think it's worth a try for sure.
I think, yeah,
Do you have any connections?
It's also
Yeah,
another
Neshoba
great,
Club
yeah,
does
Neshoba Club would be a great
Yeah.
location too.
They have the back room too.
yeah, yeah.
Are they right on Main Street, Neshoba Club?
No,
Central Ave.
they're on Central Ave,
Central Ave.
just a couple of 100 yards down from
Yeah.
Town Hall.
Okay, why don't we go from there and, okay. I think that's a good start.
And I unfortunately don't have a contact there, Cheryl, just because they
What,
don't.
Neshoba Club? Yeah.
At Neshoba Club, no, because they don't open until noon, and so they won't start cooking pizzas for us until noon. So otherwise, I love their pizza.
Is it good pizza? Since I'm homebound, I don't get out, so I don't get out much. I don't know who the fun
I like
place is.
I like a piece of pizza that is on the verge of collapsing because they've been so generous with the toppings on it.
Oh, okay,
That's what I like in a pizza, so I like them.
okay.
Okay. So I think if we get that done and then we aim for January, we should be able to, in December, firm that up
I'm sorry, you said in December?
in December.
Oh, firm it up in December.
Firm
Oh,
it
yeah,
up in
yeah,
December.
for January. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
um,
and when's the publication date for January's newsletter would be
January's newsletter will be,
prior to the 3rd or 4th or somewhere.
I will try to get it out on the 23rd.
Wow,
So
of December.
No,
for January, yes.
oh,
Okay.
okay.
I usually have it out a week I try to have it out a week in advance. I don't always make
Okay.
the deadline, but I do try and have it out a
Okay.
week in advance.
Okay, so we need to know,
Cause I won't be here the 24th, the
But
25th.
So we-
this group that we're trying to target may not even get. So I think we're gonna end up probably having to do more of the social media
yeah.
type of things, pushing it
Yes.
out that way.
Yeah, I agree. I just want, I think it should be in the newsletter just for, you know, appearance's sake.
Oh, no, I'm not disputing,
Yeah,
yeah, but I think it should be.
That I don't,
Well,
that's not who we want
Yeah.
attending. I mean, they know everything anyway. and
I
they're
just
already-
I don't think the age group that we're sort of trying to target
Get it.
gets the
Yeah.
newsletter.
That's,
Right.
yeah, I agree.
no, but if we meet in December 10th, and if Marco's worked out, we can post it down there, we can post it
Mhm,
other places in town.
mhm.
And the purpose is, to Cheryl's earlier point, we're really trying to sell the new senior center, that it
Mm,
engender support for it, inform people about it, encourage them to be positive in their,
mhm,
as opposed to what Katie is doing now here at the senior center.
Yep. Yep.
So the question will be, do we want to do, at this reception, do we want to do some sort of formal presentation? Okay, everybody sit down and listen to me talk for 50, or do we want to simply, here's the handouts, here's the information about it, you must have heard a lot about it, do you have any questions? Give us your email address.
I think if you do a formal, and for this type of thing, if you do a formal, you might lose people.
yeah,
I would think doing more of the sketches and having people around to talk about it, have them take information and to talk to people about it.
and I think a PowerPoint just going,
Yeah, you could always run that PowerPoint
Yeah.
presentation just on the table or
right,
up on the wall or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
you know, where pictures
but I-
are just going continuous.
Yeah,
But I agree with you, a formal presentation is, this
That's
would be
not-
less about
yeah.
that. You could, if people had the 4-page,
Mhm.
that little pamphlet we have in their hands, they could flip through it and be like, but what does that mean? And then
Yeah,
it could
well,
just be.
even though we didn't have a lot, the library, the sketches at the library really
Oh, yeah.
helped, and that really drew people to it. And they could actually sort of see what that schematic.
And the
would look like.
picture,
Okay.
because I
so-
think getting them there is half the battle, and then,
All right. And it will last an hour and a half, an hour?
people will come and go as they want, and then they'll,
No, I know,
But
I'm
to
just trying to
book the
think about how
restaurant-
long it should be,
to
an
book-
hour, an hour and a half?
I would book it if Cheryl can. For like an hour, 90 minutes.
I mean, we're not talking 2.5 hours here,
No,
we're not talking
no,
30
no.
minutes.
No, and you just sort of,
An hour and a half?
Yeah.
I would think an hour and a half
90 minutes? okay.
Yeah.
would be more than sufficient.
Mm,
And they may have a time frame that they want. So,
All right.
okay, okay. The beginning, the review of the senior center. Katie and I were talking. And formal review process of the senior center. You have binders. And Cheryl, yours is coming, Mary's delivering it. In front of you, your binders were put together. And we're not going to start it today, but Katie had found it online. And hopefully this week or this month, we'll just get a chance to kind of read the step 2. I'm sure everybody's been reviewed.
This is new to me.
Okay,
Could you discuss a little bit
Yeah.
about what it is and what its purpose is and
What you hope to get from it.
what you're intended to achieve?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I can only associate it with what we did. Um. Self-assessments are looking at what we have. And there are standards, there are 9 standards in here,
Okay,
and they are self-explanatory. They say, purpose and planning, community, governance, administration and resources,
yeah.
program development and implementation. Um, Fiscal and asset. I think I'm missing one of mine, records and reports. Facility and operations. Sorry, that's where my eyes coming in. So out of all those, they will give you what you want to mark them as.
Okay, so,
Obviously, our facility here
yeah,
will not get top rank.
okay, so I get it. So your thought is to. So the National Council on Aging.
Yes.
And the National have developed. The self-assessment process.
Yeah.
For the purpose of grading. Senior centers,
Mhm.
and we would like the board to grade the current. Senior center,
This current senior center,
So-
not the one we're building.
right, so the 5 of us, or the 5 of us will grade
This
where the current senior center stands on these
on
measures.
these measures.
As part of our monthly meeting.
We will hopefully break. And we can meet on Zoom if and when needed.
Okay, because they still have to be open meetings, correct?
Yes,
Right. So you're looking to.
because this is not going to be a 2 or 3 month process.
I understand that, so I'm trying to figure out
Yes,
what's your thought process? What's your anticipated time to take it? How long are you looking to? Are you looking to meet once a week, every other week? Are you, and sort of,
we can set up our own schedule.
but, okay, so how long are you anticipating it's gonna take to complete this?
And, yeah, because it's up to us as a board.
And the board collectively marks it once, or we each mark it
We
individually?
each mark it. Because we each have our own thoughts.
Cheryl, just feel free to jump in whenever you
She
want. You
did-
don't have
yeah.
to raise your.
Adela, yeah, so follow my line of thinking. Plans
Yes.
are already underway for a new senior center. With no disrespect, what is the point of evaluating the current senior center, given the fact that we're gonna be starting from ground zero? Could we follow these national recommendations in thinking about, and you've probably already discussed this for the past 3 years, about the new senior center? Are these points of review something that we can incorporate into the planning? Like I said, shoot me if you've already done this a million times, but can you
This
see
is
the-
the first. I'll be
And I
honest with you,
think-
Cheryl, this is the first we've seen the book.
And I think when Katie handed me the review, it was in order to know what we wanted for the new.
new senior center? Okay.
And to make sure we weren't missing anything.
Well, actually, that was not what, that,
Okay.
I think that could come from it, of course, but, the idea behind a self-assessment is that this board is supposed to be advisory. You guys don't deal with staffing, you don't deal with operations, you're advisory. And so, while this particular self-assessment is intended to be a large process that involves like 15 other members of the community, one way that this could be used is for the COA board just as you guys, instead of this whole community board, to take a look at these things and say, where are we excelling, given our situation, and where are areas that we can improve right now? Because in the 3 years I've been here, the COA board has never set like goals, for example, they've set goals for themselves for the first time this year, but not ever in an advisory role for the senior center. And so my thought was that would help hone the advisory skills. And, even if you took these 9 areas, even if you took one of them per month and did it over the course of essentially a year, you could be looking at things that could be suggested as goals for me, or things that could be suggested for the new building. You would hold those off to the side. I mean, they would be there, but they wouldn't be actionable until the new thing. And then a year or two into the new center, into the new building, then you could do this process over again and show the growth that has been able to happen as a result of being in the new building. That was my thought anyway.
Okay,
But I definitely think the board should agree that they want to do this, or that they don't. That's fine too.
I mean, as a faculty, we had to do it every 4 or 5 years. So,
And the product, what do you see as the product of this? That is, we grade this, or we, evaluate that on any number of measures by putting a check mark
Well,
or whatever. And what is the product of that?
I think it gives Katie an idea, and Mary Ellen and Denise
Yeah.
an idea of where to go for what's needed for programming, what's needed for services, what else
Yeah.
for programs,
So the,
what works from a senior's point of view, what works for,
Mhm.
what is working, what's not working,
Mhm. All right.
I mean, I've not ever worked in any facility that doesn't review.
No, I understand. I'm trying to. At the end of this process, we, the board, would make formal recommendations to Katie regarding about where there's room for improvement, where we find them deficient, where we think that they are doing an excellent job.
Mhm.
And then Katie and the senior center staff take those recommendations or thoughts that and they, act on them as budget allows, or they dismiss them because they feel that our evaluation did not properly hit the. So that's kind of what you're thinking?
They have the right to do what they want.
Right, I'm just, okay, all right,
I mean,
yeah. No,
They are
right,
the-
yeah, it's
they
purely
are the
advisory,
staff, we're the board.
right,
You know? They run,
So who's gonna drive it?
So the COA board.
Yeah.
I
It's
think,
not-
I
their
think
evaluation.
we all,
But there's gotta be one driver that really sort of takes a topic, pulls all the information together and writes that completed report.
Right.
So,
and
and
it can't be
you know, and a
changed.
lot of.
have you seen
and
how
I-
many sections?
Yes, and I have been part of these before, and,
Right,
most of the times I've had, for lack of a better word, there's been some type of moderator that
right,
has pulled in all of this stuff.
right.
It's the old throw spaghetti at a wall and stick.
And
know.
there are 9 standards,
Yep.
and then,
a question. Is there any
Yes.
funding to bring on an outside consultant to lead
no,
this process? No. All right. So this is something that's self-governed, self-governance, self-propelled.
So, I think this first round, I just think it's a good idea to do and not get too I think the feedback would be great.
I don't, we should, but there should be some expectation for
Yeah.
everybody as to how this is gonna work
Mhm,
and what's gonna be that general outcome of it.
mhm.
And that's all I'm sort of. And I'm
No,
trying to,
I'm starting to, I mean, Cheryl's point from earlier is to, you know, what,
to what extent,
what is the utility of doing it now? Given the amount of energy and time that we're going to be expending on the new one.
Because I think the program, some of the programs are going to flow with the centers.
Mhm.
And what if it doesn't pass?
Well, if it doesn't pass, this is gonna be the least of our problems.
Right, but then we still have the center.
Yeah,
And what can we do to improve here?
I don't disagree that if done properly, this can give a lot of support to the reason for a new senior center. You know, it can
Yeah.
say is this, you know,
I'm just, yes,
you know,
I,
as it's done,
yes,
but
I,
it's gotta go through that process.
Mhm.
But without a timeline to it, and if we're going to the town the end of February, that goes to Cheryl's things, what's the purpose? So,
Well,
You're
we're
right.
still going to be here for 2 years.
what's that? I missed the
We'll
part.
be here 2 years. By the time the new one's built.
Yes.
So why not?
26.
I mean,
May I ask
Okay,
another stupid question? There are no stupid questions.
there's no stupid questions.
Well, when I ask them, you haven't known me too long, but so the new senior center is still in the planning stages. And
Mhm.
do those planning stages include having a completed budget? I know you folks have been looking at land in town and site proposals. How far into it is the process? I get a sense that it still has to go before the planning department and select.
Right, so currently so right now we have chosen the site that's on Bishop Road. We are looking to, the budget for this construction of the center is estimated to be $16.6 million. The current hope is that in mid-February, late February perhaps, we would go to town meeting to approve the funding. If we get approval of that by a 2/3 majority vote, we would have to go to the ballot, a secret ballot vote at town hall, and get a simple majority of voters to approve the debt exclusion. And then, which would occur sometime in the spring. And then we would hopefully be able to then move on with putting it out to bid,
Yeah.
acquiring a construction company, the owner's project manager, with the hope/prayer that construction would begin in late summer, early fall of 2025, with a completion date of late 2026, let's say, for the building.
So would it be possible that that town vote, ballot vote would be on the town elections?
I don't
Or
know
would it
the
have to be a separate election or special?
I have a question into the town clerk about how that process and the timeline for that process works. And, you know, how close to the
Mhm. Yeah.
how close to the town meeting must the ballot occur or whatever. So I'm waiting to hear back from Susan on that particular point.
Now, would the
Um,
town float a bond or something to finance this? Or how? would-
Yes,
Okay.
yes, so we'll need to borrow the whole amount. and then perhaps through fundraising and grants, reduce the amount that the town inevitably, at the end of the day, has to borrow. But we need to be able to borrow the full amount in order to enter into the contracts with the construction company. Because I don't think the construction company is gonna wanna hear, sorry, the grant didn't come through,
Right.
but thanks for the foundation.
Mhm.
So, so that's kind of broad strokes, and I think all this information is posted online, and there's a PowerPoint presentation that Katie gave, I think a week ago.
Online.
So,
I'll look for it.
yeah, so all of this to say, for the purposes of this, I haven't,
Most of this is straightforward.
right, so do we want to allow us some time for me to take a look at this and the binder and kind of,
Yeah.
We can vote on it next month, but I think you'll find most of it's fairly straightforward. I mean, you'll be able to answer everything easily. So,
I think it makes sense to take it home, review
Yeah.
it, look at it, get a sense of,
I'm
absolutely.
still trying to figure out the how. So are we each going to sort of do a section on our own? Bring it together, come together in some type of Zoom meeting, discuss our thoughts, or are we just gonna do them all in a vacuum and send them to one person? Cause if you're doing a self-assessment, is it a group? That's sort of where I'm,
yeah,
I would suggest that. And you guys can do it however you want, but I would suggest that each person score it, and then in anticipation of coming to that month's meeting.
Okay.
Or and then you discuss a particular topic and people score while they're sitting here,
Yeah.
while we're discussing, so that all the information.
Yep.
So that you have the information you need to score, that might be the most streamlined thing to do.
Yep,
And then someone collects them at the end, but then again, like you said, someone's gotta take over.
you're the accountant, you can score.
there's never an accountant.
Oh. Well, no, I mean. It's making a chart and
Can this assessment be emailed to me?
Yeah,
we have a binder. for
I do
it.
have a
No, I
binder.
can't, my hands don't work, so I can't hold paper. So it'd be much easier if you could email it and I could read it in
Cheryl, I can send it to you right now.
perfect.
Sorry, I
I
should.
can't hold a pen. That's how limited physically I have become. But I can read it in I voice dictate for documents.
Okay,
So,
I'm just making this.
yeah, so from a technological point of view and to that aspect of it
Thank you.
too. Is there any for us to get like could we set up a Google Drive? Does the Microsoft Teams give us that type of
oh,
area on a town server?
Mhm.
That type of
if we
stuff?
work on Google Sheet, yeah,
so Michael, but it should be through the Microsoft Teams,
Yeah, that's what I was.
if we work on Google,
No, Microsoft
Right,
Teams.
Microsoft Teams is what the town has.
yeah,
Says you probably want to keep it on, since it is town property.
Yeah.
Keep it on a
Yeah.
town server.
Yes, I think.
I would just caution too, for public open records or public, sorry, there's like 40 conversations going on in here, but for open meeting and public records law, that has to be accessible to the public, any document that the board is working on.
yeah.
Yep. So Carly, maybe you, and this is Mary, maybe you know the answer, is through Microsoft Teams, do you know, is there a space on server where we could put documentation or information like this as we're working on it?
We could
Or
put
is
it right on like the COA webpage of the town website.
That'd be
Okay.
great.
All right,
Yeah,
I mean-
as you want us to load it up, we can do that. That's no problem.
You mean to post the results or to post,
It
A work in
probably has to be
progress?
our work in progress too,
but
right?
but the as a collaborative tool, Microsoft Teams allows for the editing of joint documents and all the rest of it, I assume.
Yeah, so we don't have that capability to do that
You don't.
because technically if people are on a board collaborating on one document, that could be considered a violation of the open meeting law.
Okay,
But our work in progress, so each one of our individual assessments would have to be accessible to the public, correct? As well as,
Yeah, I mean, you could take the assessment, compile it, and then share what the results are. That's okay.
okay,
That's how I would do it.
all right.
okay. So why don't we look it over this month? And then take maybe, if we decide to do it,
But this-
agree that we're going to do maybe 2 at a time.
And this came from the, obviously, National Council on
Yeah.
Institutes of, and they have. a
Katie
study that-
downloaded, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so the Massachusetts Councils on Aging, which is the state level, and I was just at their conference last
Listen to me.
month. This is the National Council on
Yeah.
Aging, so this is the national version of that, and then the National Institute of Senior Centers is,
And do we know if any, in that, from your discussions at MC, any other senior centers have gone through this process with this tool and?
There's typically a session or two at each of the annual meetings about building excellence, this process. The national level, so like I can get accredited as I forget what it calls, like an excellent director. I mean, that's not the title, but I can get accredited by having gone through a process like this as a professional at the Massachusetts level. They also have one, this National Council on Aging has one. They've just put a hold on their certification. They're going to redo it over the next year. So it's an accreditation that I can get as an individual. I can't accomplish that professional goal in this center, so I haven't tried it, because I won't be able to meet the standards to do it. But I don't know that there's one of these. I think the Massachusetts Councils on Aging uses this national one to do it, and yes, there are several that are accredited.
So,
Do you know which they are?
Not off the top of my head, we could figure that out.
No, I just would want to talk to, the council and how that process had worked for them.
well, if you looked at page 7, it gives you pretty much the steps to complete it. So are we an affiliate member of the NISC?
I am a member on the National Councils on Aging, but I don't know that the senior center is. And again, this is a much larger, like, to do this officially and seek national accreditation is something beyond the scope that we're interested in, because we're not interested in putting 14 other people along through this process with us. When I suggested a review and assessment as a way to put meat on the advisory role, I know, Marge, you were looking and working at adapting things, and I was like, you know what, this exists already, so there's no reason for us to try and figure this out. So, but I don't know that we need to go through it with, we don't need church people and religious funding organizations, all those other people to look at it at this stage.
No, but you're right, but there are probably some things that as we go through this so I guess we would need a staff person to be a point person in some respects, because there are probably some things that you have
We don't know.
that we don't know
And
that are available. So, as opposed to saying no, and so, no, we got this whole thing right here. I guess
Right.
that's sort of
Yeah.
where I'm trying to understand,
Right.
But I
get
said
that.
that to Katie when I said, we don't know the records and fiscal reports.
I would recommend, and again, if you guys would like to do this, I would recommend having one standard per month and have it be half of the board's business for that month, if not 3/4, and go through this checklist together. I'm not trying to create extra work for myself in terms of creating presentations for you guys, but we can certainly, because it's an informal review using a formal criteria, but an informal review intended to guide you guys in your advisory role. I'm happy we can walk and talk through all of these and then maybe you score as we're talking. And that doesn't create a lot of homework aside from, there's 2 or 3 pages that talk about the principles and the rationales for each one of these in the back, to have read those in advance. I get what I mean.
And like I said, when we did this at school, it was a private school, but we had to meet the Massachusetts state requirements. It brings you so you know what you want to work for.
Right, but I think that to Katie's point, it's a formal tool,
It's a formal tool,
but we are not using it as such. That is,
not yet,
no, I understand.
but you might want to in the new,
Mhm.
and could be, oh, we can't do that here, but down the road.
Right, no, I understand.
So it's an eye opener. And at school, we started like a year and a half in advance of when it was due.
Mhm.
We gave ourselves. It's almost like a reaccreditation,
Well, that's
but
my
we're
point,
not
it's
doing
not,
it for here.
right, it's not,
But no, but we might in the new place go for it.
yes,
So this could be a practice run.
Does the center have a formal audit procedure in place presently? Does someone review policies and procedures or is that all dumped in your lap, Katie, and you get to
And
make sure everything runs smooth?
I'm a continuous improvement sort of person. But there is no formal process. We did,
Yeah.
for example, I just redid policies and procedures this summer and had all of the seniors sign them. But then it would there's no, I personally have an evaluation on an annual cycle, but there's no
There's
official
no audit of budget or anything like that.
in mind. So, I hear some hesitation about it. One alternative to consider would be, what if everybody reads through it and decides if there are particular things that you go, aha, from reading it without even needing to go through the formal evaluation that you guys would like to focus on in an advisory capacity? That could be too.
and your thought is that we would, or that you would be able to implement those or take that advice under advisement, over the next 6 months, let's say?
Well, I mean, you guys can set that schedule, but I think it would be goals for the upcoming calendar year or the upcoming fiscal year, however you wanna.
The goals of for the senior center.
Right, so, standard 2 here is community connections. The senior center serves as a focal point by partnering with organizations to offer services at the senior center. Yep, we do that. Developing arrangements for mutual referrals. Yep, we do that. Encouraging agencies to deliver their services at the senior center. Yep, we do that. Delivering services at other locations. Well, we currently don't do that. So that would be no, right? So by the process of doing that, you guys might say, well, here it says I really should be doing that. I've explained to you my desires not to do that. But here is an objective set of things that says maybe you should do that. So you guys could say, hey, Katie, we really think as a COA board, part of our advice to you for the upcoming year is that you incorporate this standard of community connections of delivering services at other locations. So that's just like a very small example.
All right.
I make a motion that we look this over and decide and vote in December if we're going to do it or not.
Okay,
Could you send it to me electronically as well, too, please? Thank you.
I would like to second that motion.
Want
Yeah,
to hold
I will poll. Dennis,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Cheryl,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Unanimous. Next item.
I just forwarded it to everybody on the board again, so that it's there.
So much for this.
It's much easier online to look at that.
Okay,
Yeah.
the COA and Christmas coupons for a free meal. Do we want to be in support of it? Do we want to help with it?
So the question is, does the COA board want to pay to buy coupons so that others can have a meal at Christmas?
Hmm. Is that how you want me to word it?
Isn't that
No.
just, no, in
No,
the past,
how do you want
isn't it
it
just
worded?
that the board sort of
So-
authorizes, coupons for
The
free meals
one
and
free
it's
meal.
year round or something?
Yeah, so in the last 2
No.
years, the COA board has given away a coupon
Yeah,
for a free meal, and it's been placed at the placemat of
Yeah,
every seat
yeah.
for the Christmas holiday dinner.
yeah,
It was more of an outreach and good
Yeah.
faith kind of thing. No one gave the senior center,
yeah,
$150. Our meal costs are much higher than our donations anyway. So, it was just sort of
a nice gesture.
a nice gesture. There we go. That's the right way to, yeah.
And I think it is a nice gesture in that.
I think it is too.
Okay, so what will we be doing, or?
We're just basically authorizing that they'll put,
They'll put the coupon on the table.
You're saying, do I want credit for giving everyone a free meal?
Do we want credit as the
Do you want-
COA
Do
board?
you want money so that you can give people? so that
No,
we-
there was no exchange of money last time, no,
There
because
hasn't
it was,
We just have to vote that it will be, say, sponsored by the COA.
do you want me to put your name on the card, is
Do
basically.
you want Dennis? Do you want Dennis on the card?
I am
They're gonna hit
perfectly
you up,
happy to
right?
help
They're
pay
gonna-
for the coupons. I was unaware that you needed. Oh, yeah, it's great.
Okay, so Dennis, how do you vote?
Aye.
Shall we put
Mary.
forward a motion? Are you entertaining a motion?
Make a motion.
I would like to make a motion that the Council on Aging Board support presentation of a free meal coupon for Christmas.
second,
Okay, and how do you vote, Cheryl?
I vote yes.
Dennis,
Yes,
Mary,
aye.
me, I. Okay, senior center, director's report.
Thank you. All right, so I was a little late getting those out. They got emailed right beforehand. I can just go over it it was a pretty typical month. We had about a little 112 seniors in attendance, a total of 915 in-person programming hours. Our average daily attendance is 27 people, ranging from a random Monday with 15 to a day of 42. That does not include the about 15 Meals on Wheels clients that we have and the 80 van riders in October. We had outreach services were offered to 29 seniors, a total of 43 times this month. As you can expect, the most typical assistance was health benefits counseling this time of year, with it being open enrollment. But food insecurity, home management, transportation, coordination, friendly visits, legal assistance, family issues, all those sorts of things involved as well. We said goodbye to Brittany Beaudry, the town social worker, on October 31st. That was her last day.
yeah.
What was she here about, 15 months?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
Where did she go?
She went on to another professional opportunity.
And is the position reposted and all the rest? of
I
that
don't
process?
think it's been reposted. Carly, has it been reposted yet? I didn't see it last time I looked, but.
No, we haven't reposted it yet. We're reevaluating some of the aspects of it, so
When you say
nothing as
you're-
of yet.
Okay, so in terms of the social workers' help or assistance or value to the senior community here at the senior center, how did you, was that something that was helpful, not so much helpful? Would you think?
I think she was very helpful with the clients that she had. I think there was a lot of opportunity, there was a lot more potential opportunity than was realized in that period of time. But I do think the potential for collaboration there is great.
And Carly, the reason I asked the question obviously is that, you know, I know we spent a little over a year maybe trying to hire a social worker because there was a sense, at least I had the sense, that a town social worker would bring significant value to the town and the police department in terms of engaging with any manner of social mental health issues that arise, you know, for folks living in Ayer.
Mhm.
And how are we to think about that now? And obviously, you know, input from us as a board would be significant, I would hope, when the town is evaluating whether or not a social worker has value to the town.
Yeah, there's definitely no question in our mind that it added value. I think to echo kind of what Katie said, I think there's potential for a lot more collaboration with both the senior center, the general public, and working with town hall. Now, what does that look like in terms of compensation? That's all the stuff Robert and I are looking at now as we evaluate when, you know, when we're gonna post it, if it's gonna look exactly the same, do we need to make changes to the job description? That's kind of all stuff we're doing behind the scenes right now. But I mean, certainly being in close contact with Katie, and I know Brittany was with Katie half of the day, half of the week, so we know that she was able to help a lot of folks down there, and we certainly would like to keep that going.
Okay, and if you want some input, either formal recommendation from the board or input from individual members about that posting for that position or the interview process, please let us know.
Will
mean,
do, for sure.
Okay.
I'm doing some consulting at Aging Services of North Central Mass with their behavioral health outreach program, because I'm a social worker. That's what I do. And if there's ever a question about whether a client, right now it's only internal clients that they're helping because they just got the grant. But they hopefully will be expanding, and Ayer is in their catchment area. That's why I bring it up. So maybe if there are people that you're worried about, you know, get in touch with me. I'll try to help them out. I'll try to get information to you, Katie. You probably already know about the grant and maybe have connections, but I know it's not the same as having, you know, a full-time town social worker, but there may be some, you know, patchwork that we can do in the interim.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
Thank you.
And townwide, I'll just offer that our police department has a collaboration with the DA's office, Middlesex
Mhm.
County DA's office, in which we also are, we can refer, you know, folks that need additional services, we work through them as well.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. So we had 65 meal clients this month who ate a total of 279 meals. Our meals program is still quite popular. One of the things that is an ongoing issue with our smaller capacity is that we have 24 seats at the table. But seniors as a group of people have a more variable schedule in the sense that you may sign up, you may, forget, there may be short-term memory issues to remember whether or not you signed up for lunch. There's doctor's appointments that come up. There's not feeling well on a particular day. And so it's, in our smaller dining room, it's always a struggle to sign up no more than 24 people so that there's enough seats for everyone, but also not miss out on the opportunity to feed someone. So unlike an airplane where you can oversell, I mean, airlines
Yeah.
oversell the airplane all the time. It's a balance. So, we have, I would say, between 20 and 24 people at pretty much every meal. Getting that balance and fill right to 24 on every day can be a little difficult. But it continues to be very popular. Offering, catered restaurant meals is, what's not.
Get a lot of walk-ins.
A couple of people who, for their various own personal reasons, don't or can't make plans ahead, and maybe one or two people a day, and they are content with our policy is we are full, but if you want to hang out in the reception area until right at noon, and if people don't show up, then we'd be happy to feed you. So, and most people who don't want to make the advanced plans are comfortable and pleased with that opportunity.
And in terms of, that is, I don't think and this came up at the forum the other night, and I anticipate it will come up again. You cannot operate at 100% capacity. That is, if a hotel were operating at 100% capacity, they'd build another hotel.
Right.
Or they'd make a bigger hotel. The fact that all meals aren't, at 24 or oversubscribed is not an argument for, well, you still have space down there.
Right. Oh, agreed. Yeah.
But I think that for some people, if you've only got, if you still have 4 empty seats at the table, well, you don't need to build a whole new building to fill up those 4 empty seats. So all I would say is that as we continue to move forward with the new building project, that you cannot operate. Katie no entity can operate at 100% capacity.
No, and just to use the meals as an example, we'll fill a meal to 24, we'll tell 6 people it's full, and then 4 of them won't show up, right?
Yeah.
And so then, you've turned 6 people away for, so it's just the nature of it. Whereas in a larger building with a larger capacity, you can kind of, because you'd be home cooking when people are walking in and you end up with more people, you have the ability to go, I'm gonna add an extra can of beans to that chili, and we're stretching it a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's just a little bit more leeway with those things, than there is with when we order 24 roast beef sandwiches like we ordered today. There are only 24 sandwiches. So, let's see. So in terms of volunteers and donations, our 11 volunteers worked a total of 232 hours, which is worth just under $4,000 for the month. And then senior tax work-off concluded at the end of October. Love this program. We employ, and I say in quotes, employ 10 workers and I would say we're probably the most prevalent site for senior tax work-off people. I know there's a couple at Town Hall, but I don't know if they have 10 over there. So I'm going to claim us as winner of the senior tax work-off program. And they worked a total of 1,458 hours last year, which would add up to $20,770.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So, and then not all of our volunteers are senior tax work-off. So when I look back at the whole year and all the volunteers, that number is usually closer to $35,000 or $40,000 of value. So our volunteers are wonderful and we like them very much. So we couldn't do it without them, and are happy to be able to offer that set of 10 workers. I'd say about half of them made it all the way to the maximum tax credit of $2,000, and the rest of them were pretty close behind, just due to their own schedules for volunteering.
Katie, what kinds of tasks are your volunteers doing for the tax work-off?
It's a range of things. Many of them are receptionists. We don't have any sort of paid administrative staff, so they answer phones, take ride reservations, sign people up for the monthly lunches and programs. We have a couple that are program leaders, such as our tea time program, movie program, bingo. Those are all coordinated and facilitated by a senior tax work-off person. Some of them are Meals on Wheels delivery people, some of them are seasonal decorations folks. And then some people just have time to work here or there if we have like a big special event, and they might only have 5 or 6 hours or 10 hours for the year versus the others are working right up to those 125 hours each week.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I am definitely looking for senior tax work-off people in the handyman, home companion, and social media management roles. So I always advertise that in the newsletter. I don't have anybody yet, but I feel confident that eventually we will find someone. In terms of the, I can save the building committee, update that's in my report till when we talk about that in the agenda. And then we had 80 riders on the van this month with a total of 407 trips. I am noticing an increase in utilization, of our newest destinations. In Littleton, Westford, and then more people going to Leominster, Fitchburg, Acton, and Concord. So,
Is that for medical appointments?
it's for for medical appointments. One of the things I'm noticing is, it's harder when you have to go further away, you can't drop somebody off and then go
back
take
and
other
get 'em.
riders and then come back and get them. So, I'm actually surprised, it's a testament to Sam, that there were still, that number's down just a little bit, but not substantially off our normal number of rides. We did put into place 2 more group shopping trips, grocery shopping trips to try and consolidate people to free up more room for these longer destination trips. Compound trips are really getting to be a problem. There's a set of people who want to go, since they're going all the way to Leominster, for example, they're like, I need to stop at Whitney Field Mall to get this, and then I need to go over to, the grocery store over there and get this. And then if we have time, I'd like to stop at the post office on the way home. So that's a situation I'm working on with the van driver, just to help people understand that this is not their personal taxi service.
Right.
So
right.
when people are wanting to go, let's say, to town hall to pay taxes and then across the street to the post office and then come home, that's a very different kind of compound ride than making multiple stops out of further out destination. So, like I said, I think it's going to take several months to really see the impact of the hospital closure, because though it closed at the end of August, not like everybody had their routine appointments scheduled in September and we're gonna immediately see it.
Is the medical office building still open or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Some doctors,
But the doctors are moving out.
some are moving out.
And I have noticed as well, we have a higher incidence of what I'm gonna call no-shows, in the sense that physicians aren't where they're telling people they're going to be. So they're going to see a doctor only for an appointment that's been scheduled for a while, only to find out that now that doctor is there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because they're sharing the space now with another physician. And 3 or 4 months ago, when that appointment was made, they didn't transfer them into a new time slot. So again, I think, which is, frustrating for sure for the client, because they've been dropped off and then they go into either an empty office or an office that has a different doctor in it for that day. So I do think it's going to take several months to really work out all the kinks and really feel good about knowing what the impact is. I'm definitely not going to feel good about it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, feel confident in what the impact is like long term.
And the second driver.
So 2 things on that one. One, Town manager's office is waiting on a memo from me to fully describe what I want to give to Mart. Because it will have an impact on the town's assessment.
What you want to give to Mark?
What you're looking for?
Yeah, what I'm looking for from Mart. So anytime you wanna, so we have like, let's say we have our hours, our level of service is 40 hours, right? With one van. So if I wanna hire 5 drivers to do that, then it's just a matter of putting them through the training, no cost to the town. It's just an HR, I have a person at Mart that I work with to do the driver training and drug testing and all that stuff. That's not a big deal at all. But what I'm looking to do is add someone who's going to dispatch in the afternoon, free up the receptionist from answering that second line. And they would be the dispatcher for the van rides and then move some of our afternoon group shopping a little bit later in the day, thus freeing up more time during the afternoon for medical appointments, because we have 2 afternoons a week that we can't do medical appointments because we're doing group grocery shopping. So if group grocery shopping didn't start until like 3:30 or 4 and went in the 4 to 6 hour, and then there could also be more evening events and more group social trips, which is really something that, you know, we can't meet demand for right now. So that involves going from like 40 hours a week worth of van coverage to like 60 hours a week.
Yes.
Right. So that involves the a set of people higher than me, because the town pays in as far as being part of the MBTA and pays into regional transit services. That's a bigger, larger assessment that's more than just the senior center. But so Robert has to work that out with Bruno over at Mart to redo the assessment based
Are you
on that.
looking to get an additional van as well too, or are you looking to just stay with the one van?
So my first desire would be to have one additional full-time driver to drive the
Use just
same
one,
van.
just use the one van, okay?
Yeah, I think that would be a substantial improvement to service. Doesn't mean that once we go to the new building or even before then, we wouldn't want that. So I think that would, having a full-time dispatcher who basically dispatches all afternoon long and then drives in the late afternoon and early evening would alleviate all of the staff are spending a fair amount of time working on dispatching right now, so it would free us up to do some of our more specific tasks. And it would increase our capacity for rides. I think that's the most pressing thing, more so than 2 vans. I think we would, if we had 2 drivers, we could on occasion take 2, like go
2 larger
borrow a van. Because for $50, I can borrow a van for the day at any time I want. So from Mart, yeah.
Wow, okay.
I just have to have someone else to drive it.
Yeah.
So then, you know, if we want to take 24 people to the beach or 24 people to the theater, then we can do that. But I don't see needing a second van on a full-time basis right now. I definitely think that would be the case once we're in a new building and we need to swing by here and Pleasant Street and pick up people
Yeah.
multiple
one
times
of
a
them,
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pick up and drop off.
Right.
Is there anything that we as a board or assistance that you need from us to get information, like pull reports, look at it, reports, provide that type of support to you?
Calling Mark.
I don't, at this point, the holdup is me, because I need to send. I need
No,
to
that's
send
what I'm
the
saying.
bills.
Do you need assistance from us to get and grabbing some of the data or something potentially to?
If you want to schedule a time to sit down with me so that I can brush it off to another time frame, yes. But no, I just need to make the time to sit down and
Okay.
write that memo. The town manager's office is very supportive. The initial conversations with Mart also very supportive. They just need to.
I just wasn't sure,
their
because I know
heads
you
together.
said that
Mhm.
my senior center doesn't necessarily pull out. It doesn't segregate some of the information that you were looking for. That's the reason I was sort of
Right, yes,
looking
yes.
for if you needed somebody
That's a
to
good
help.
question. I don't know that MART is necessarily looking for us
Okay.
to justify needing it. It's just, I think we need to formally request it and say that we're
Okay.
willing to pay for the increased cost
That's fine.
of that additional
That's fine. I just
level
want to know,
service.
you know,
And Carly, are there any holdups at your end in terms of the availability of funding or ability to access the funds?
So mid-year, that's the thing I don't know. So what we need is that memo from Katie so we can discuss with Mart. I'm confident if we were to do this mid-year, we could figure something out. But if we know from Mart what the increased assessment's gonna be, we can certainly put it in next year's budget for July 1. With that being said, I think we get the information we need from Mart, I think we can probably look for funding mid-year so we don't have to wait till July.
No, I would strongly agree. Just anecdotally, Sam is like the most valuable player
Oh,
and is
yes.
spoken of highly here by all the residents. And
Mhm.
there's some concern that we're running them ragged. And to the extent to which we can increase the availability of transportation, not only in light of the hospital closing, which was obviously significant, but it came up at the forum from a couple of people expressing concern about ability to access the new building, because now it'll be a little bit further afield from where they're used to coming.
Right.
And I think that to the extent to which we could have the second van and the second driver prior to kind of work out the kinks, get the scheduling down so that you're not trying to kind of do that, from ground zero when the new building opens. If the second van is available, it's like 6 months prior to the availability of the new building, I think we'd be just in a better position to kind of gauge routes and how much access you need and what kind of availability you have. Because
Yeah,
I
agreed.
sus-
And once we get the information, we can have those discussions with Mart, but certainly, Katie knows she has Robert's support, she has my support. Mart is, they'll do whatever they can. Of course, they're gonna charge us. So we can't enter into an agreement without knowing what that number is, obviously. But, we're all for increased transportation. We know, if we're building a new center and the size is gonna increase, we have to get people there. So that's kind of in our long-term planning as well. So yeah, we're very supportive.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you, Carly. I always feel very supported by the
Yeah.
town manager's office, and that's not always the case. So, I mean, that's not always the case for other towns. Their COA directors don't always feel supported, so I feel very lucky. All right, last but not least, I just need volunteers on November 20th for the Thanksgiving luncheon. An extra pair of hands is
Yeah.
always great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll be
I
there.
will be there.
All right, great.
What day of the week is that?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, is that the Wednesday before Thanksgiving?
Yes,
Yep.
it is.
No, the week before.
No.
No, it's
The week before.
before.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
It's the week
Yeah.
before.
And we will be closed,
Mhm.
the Wednesday, the day before. So we're closed Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of the week of Thanksgiving. Wednesday, all of the staff coincidentally are up for new first aid and CPR and choking training kind of all at the same time. So we're all gonna do that together on Wednesday, kind of knock that out. And then, Thursday and Friday are holidays for the union staff. Yeah, so that's my report.
Oh, and then next on was the senior center building, which is right there.
Okay, great. So progress keeps moving forward. We're really focused on site due diligence, environmental habitat, getting the parcel, the approximately 3-acre parcel survey done. There's been a lot of, shouldn't say a lot of the efforts for public input are where we're focused right now. We started with Newton Street and the library flu clinic, and then we had our first larger public forum on November 7th, and it's written in past tense on the director's report. It's supposed to be about October. And that was well attended, since we're talking about it's well attended. I think there was about 40 people there in person, and another 5 on Zoom. And lots of great thoughtful questions. Luckily, from the committee's perspective, they were all questions about things that we had thought of or addressed and had, satisfactory answers to. I think by and large, the feedback was positive. You have the individual
I do.
responses that you're
Yeah.
gonna go through, but our next public input session is December, sorry, oops, sorry, I'm in the wrong month.
Did we schedule on the phone?
Yes, it's the 11th. I'm looking at the wrong phone. I believe December 11th.
For the Wednesday?
It is, yes. Ellen Fitzpatrick is or was a library trustee, and so she scheduled December 11th for a 5:45 presentation at the library. And then I was going to suggest a potentially either December 7th or 14th, a weekend morning one. That would just, again, allow more people on different schedules.
One thing I was thinking is, and I don't know what you want to do the presentation always, but do a luncheon at Pleasant Street School.
Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, it's a maximum of probably, 25 people. I mean, I think that's the capacity for the building.
Yeah,
And if we,
Yeah.
But you might also get other people in that area that would
Yeah.
go too.
Yeah.
I do want to caution though, like, we can't feed everybody a meal at every
Yeah.
one of
Right.
these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
There's gonna need to be dozens of these, and there just isn't a budget to feed
Right,
people at
right.
all of these things. So I just want to set that
Yeah, are you looking like,
expectation.
even at some of them, and just more just like just coffee, that type of stuff, or even,
Yeah.
is it just gonna be just general, like, almost like a town meeting where you just show up and?
Right, I mean, I think if you can offer for some drinks, that's always
Yeah.
helpful. And happy to do the one that we just did, but I don't think that I know there's still budget to
Yeah.
do
Oh, yeah.
that, 15 or 20 times over.
Yeah.
So, but I think like a breakfast with coffee and some pastries or something like that is just another time slot and a less expensive.
So do we want to try to do Pleasant Street School December, January? January?
I mean, January might
Yeah.
be nice. I mean, I'll do another one. And this isn't really COA business, but like, we can do another one here during the day at the senior center. We could do one over there. I mean, I think there's a lot of possibilities there.
All right, yeah, no, you're right. We'll discuss it more Monday or whenever we're
Yeah.
meeting for the building committee.
So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, we took it and I moved up the approval of minutes, moved up the board voting policy. Everybody had a chance to review the agenda online. I'm sending them out early. So when you get it, please, anything you see, let me know. And that takes us to the approval of minutes.
And I have been remiss in compiling the minutes so that we don't have any. this
We
month.
received August, was it
August.
August
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
You're right.
posted.
So mine are September and October.
You have September and October,
Okay.
and now November. Okay. Um,
So we want to vote to approve August?
they're posted.
Mm.
Oh, it says online,
They were just sent to us to review.
I
thought.
know, but I'm looking. 8/13/2024 agenda minutes, video and audio.
No, I think you may have given me the August ones. Before the last, I would have been the one to take it, would I have been? Yeah.
Yeah, you would have, I did not.
Well,
No,
can you click on the minutes and see if it's,
There's no minutes, it's just the video. So we need to, the board would need to vote to approve the minutes, then submit them to the town clerk's office. That hasn't been done for August yet.
My phone say that minutes are in
It
there.
does say minutes, but partly as a larger point of business, I've noticed across several of the boards and committees that a link for minutes or audio or video is posted and it goes to the opposite or to something else. So maybe Max could do an audit of those links.
Yeah, when you click on the thing that says minutes, it brings up the video.
Right, that's what I mean, like.
So
links going
we've
all the
been
way.
asking him to do that because committees have been so far behind on minutes, which we're really trying to get ahead of again. So there, at least there's a record online, so you could watch the video.
Gotcha.
But ideally,
So-
yeah, as soon as the minutes are approved and stamped, approved by your board, stamped by the town clerk, then they'll go in that slot on the website.
so in terms of getting the Zoom, or in our case, getting the Zoom link on the web page so that the minutes can be done from that is because I've been relying on the Zoom to do the minutes from.
Yeah, so technically, Cindy doesn't usually post the video link until there's minutes approved to match with the minutes. So Katie has access to your Zoom cloud and your meeting's recorded, so she could send you the link to access the video.
Okay, so we're gonna access, right, you do that. So we're gonna access the Zoom video outside of the town and then compile the minutes from that. And
Yeah.
why wouldn't you post the Zoom link to that page as soon as it was available?
Because there's no incentive for a board or committee to actually compile minutes, which that's the legal requirement. A meeting video doesn't satisfy a legal requirement. You have to have transcribed, minutes that need to be signed and stamped by the town clerk.
Right, no, I understand. So holding the Zoom hostage until the minutes are done is kind of the town's policy.
Well, yeah, because no one's doing their minutes, which is a problem, and we've been addressing that with other boards. The minutes should really ideally be done at the next meeting.
No, I understand. All right.
Yeah,
Okie dokie.
but you guys certainly have access because you have your own Zoom number.
They do.
So you have access to those videos to get them to do the minutes. That's how I do
Okay.
my minutes too. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so. I make a motion, we approve the August minutes.
Second.
Okay. Cheryl was not on.
I can't vote because I wasn't.
Can't vote, so, right.
Yeah, well, you sort of can, but.
Well,
we'll-
it's my understanding, and Carly can help you, that you're really not you're attesting to the fact that the meeting happened and that the minutes are
Right.
there, not necessarily to the accuracy. or the-
Content, no,
Yeah.
not testing, okay, then I vote to approve.
Dennis, yep, Mary,
Aye.
me, I.
All right.
Meetings are approved. And the minutes. Public opinion. Public input.
Oh, yes.
Hi, Barbara.
Yeah. Oh, I had a couple of notes.
I don't like that.
Well, my first thing is that Katie being the director, and I know she's had college visits this year. doesn't have a lot of time. But the other thing that I'm bringing, to my understanding, my view, is that Katie has too many meetings to go to. Because, in a sense, to get the newsletter out in time is not happening.
Mhm.
When Katie goes on vacation, the newsletter comes out on time. This newsletter from November didn't get until November 4th. And in the newsletter, it said November 1st, loaves and fishes. And I understand Katie's on a lot of committees and Katie has a lot of, what's she looking?
I don't know.
Mhm.
The newsletter actually went out on November 2nd,
Which
But-
was a Saturday,
Saturday, yep.
but it wasn't available in, a lot of seniors do not have a computer to look up the information.
Yep.
So there's a problem with that.
Yeah.
And I know in Katie's on a lot of committees, I mean, it's like, and the meetings that she has to go to is unreal. But my feeling is she's hired for the director of the senior center.
Mhm.
So the information for the senior center for all the seniors should be available on time. The other thing is Katie's been working hard, but nothing has seemed to be done for the last year. We've talked about the mart and the driver. At one time, we did have a new driver, but he's not able to drive.
Mhm.
So this has been going on for a long time, to have another driver to give Sam a break,
Mhm.
so that he can do all those things.
Yep.
And
So Carly, did you want to talk to Barbara about that point?
Well, I mean, I don't know what Carly's gonna say.
Yeah, I
mean,
I would defer to Katie. Katie, I will say that Katie does an incredible amount of work, and with this senior center project, the hours she's putting in is far beyond if we weren't building a senior center. Where, we had some delays on the driver on our end here, just scheduling. Mart had a delay, but we're ready to rock. Katie mentioned we're waiting on that memo, and again, we're supportive and we want to get it up as soon as possible.
Okay.
last week, I remember at bingo, Katie coming in and Adele and Shirley asked about the newsletter. And Katie came back and said, I don't have time. I have to do this budget. I have to do that for the November 7th meeting. And I have to do this for this and this for that. And I haven't had time to complete it.
Mhm.
And that was the 31st of December. I mean, of October,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, there were a lot of things that week
I
that
mean-
kind of all came together,
Right, I mean, but even prior to that, there's,
right?
and like I said, and I'm not picking on you, but I evidently I am, because when you go on vacation, the last two vacations you've had,
Right,
it's been out like the 24th and 25th,
right,
you know, and it.
yeah. Sometimes it
Yeah, I'm
really,
sorry, I just, but
and I see your point, Barbara, and it's, I guess, too little too late from probably, but when it depends on when I have those other meetings, if they line up with the week that the newsletter is getting done, it's so much worse than, if I go on vacation. I try not to plan it to conflict with that week. Some, other external deadlines, I can't do anything about, which is, it is, everybody has different skills and talents, and I'm not sure that would be the best reallocation of duties. But I can say, I'm committed to getting it out as quickly as possible. I came in and worked a full day on Saturday so that I could get the newsletter out as quickly as possible. It went out electronically on Saturday, and I did all the printing and folding on Saturday as well, so it was ready to go on Monday. No, that is not true. I folded all but about 50 of the newsletters, so 450 of the 500 were folded on Saturday. So they were ready to go. The printer wasn't done when I left. And so I took the 450 home with me and left the 50 in the tray that were still coming out. So, but they were ready to go on Monday.
Are there any administrative tasks that could be delegated to either employees at town hall who may have additional time, or subcontracting out some of the more mundane administrative tasks that'll free you? And again, I am suggesting this out of clear firsthand knowledge that you are stretched, that your scheduling is very tight, and with the building project ongoing and chairing that committee, in addition to trying to properly inform the public about what's going on through all the forums. You're just the number of hours that you have available to be here in the building is in addition to all the other administrative tasks you have as a department head.
Right,
So.
Yeah. So I think, in a typical senior center, and there's no such thing as typical, but most senior centers have a half-time, if not full-time program coordinator. So that the program coordinator is deciding where to go, what to do, buying the tickets, all of those sorts of things. We don't have that person on staff. We will get that person on staff in the new building. I literally do not have a chair to put that person in right now. That is what I need. I need an admin to help out or a program coordinator. And quite frankly, the program coordinator is what I need.
Right.
But there is not a chair. I already have 5 people split across 2 offices. So this is, I think, the best that we can do right now. Hopefully, that I'm committed to deadlines. I'm committed to this, and I'm doing the best I can with it. Did it go out probably 3 or 4 days late this month? Yes, it did. I take full responsibility for that. So, there doesn't seem to be a real simple solution with the newsletter. I am in a good spot this week to get that transportation memo done. To get that process moving forward again. This is what, like attempt 4 to get more driving capacity. So I feel confident that this one will go through. So, but it's a fair point, Barbara.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but you need help, and it's been going on. So if there's a possibility of somebody else helping you.
Right.
I guess
Again,
that's a question. Is there anybody that could be delegated to? Is that something that any one of your volunteers could do, or?
I have posted in the newsletter many, many times that those are the things I'm looking for help with. It hasn't been a person to
take
that criteria.
What do you use to publish the newsletter?
Publisher.
You use publisher.
I mean, the concern that and again, that this is concern I'm expressing, is that if all goes well, we won't have the new building for 2 years.
But
It's not sustainable for 2 years.
No.
At the current pace. And attempting to sustain it for an additional 2 years is could have some undesirable outcomes.
Even day one you open, you're not gonna have all that staff, right?
So between now and the time the building opens, I think we need to figure out a way to get more assistance, administrative tasks, help, something that will allow everything to occur, to Barbara's point.
some pressure off the cage.
That's right. So, I mean, I understand your desire to kind of want to continue it, but it just seems to me, I think we kind of, to the extent that we have 2 years to go, we need to kind of put our heads together.
Right. Well, I think, so I think, I will try to be proactive with staffing rather than reactive once we know where the building project timeline is on. So that we do not repeat the Groton situation where, they opened with their commercial kitchen and then everybody got upset that they didn't have anyone to cook in the commercial kitchen, not understanding that they opened the building in the middle of a fiscal year and they had not hired a person.
Provision for it either.
Right. So, I'd like to learn from other people's mistakes in that regard. We already have a full-time dining coordinator person on staff, so that's not an issue, but I would see no reason why a program coordinator couldn't be brought on in some capacity in that fiscal year. I will try to be proactive about that planning, because there will be a lot of programming that we'll want to launch on a steady increase.
Yeah.
So there will be on ramping. I don't know whether that's not the right word, but you know.
Onboarding.
Onboarding.
Off ramp.
There'll be time. There will be justification to bring someone on before the doors open.
I just want to add that you did a fantastic job on the 7th.
Oh, thank you.
Very, very pleased with the job that you created. It was awesome. It was explained and everybody, the questions were good. And I want to say thank you for the musical that you went to. It was awesome. And then the train ride.
Those are all fun activities, fun program.
Everybody gets sick, right? On the
But
train
it
ride.
was good.
These things happen, yes.
And we're on the train,
Like food poisoning sick or?
huh?
Somebody-
It was the first round of winter colds going through, so, oh, we lost Carly. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Somebody
you did a
went
good job.
knowing they were sick
Yeah.
so, all right.
and became contagious, so. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay,
Before I-
anybody else have anything? Nope. A motion to adjourn?
They make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We still have a quorum, so that's great.
Cheryl left, so,
We still have a quorum. So.
yeah. We adjourn at 4:02.